Thanks for tuning in. And you guys are gonna get a lot of information. I'm gonna go over some little bit of in history on why I did another webinar. And then I'm gonna we're just gonna be mainly dealing with the templates, what to give them, how to deal with the opposition, because always there's some type of opposition. And remember, when you're getting opposition, check your attitude, because a lot of opposition, most of the opposition comes from your perception of the people you're dealing with. In this community, in this space, a lot of people have a negative look at the people in government. And you have to remember, these people are doing a job. They went to school. They believe they're doing something right in their mind from their world perception. That's what they think. So if you come at them with hostilities, you're going to be met back with hostilities. Even if you have that thought in your mind, it can help. It could possibly get you rejected. Yes, some places are tougher than others, but remember, you are the creator of all things you are experiencing, and take responsibility for that. All right. I know on the screen you guys see my Department of State authenticated passport application. Now,
Akeem, I just want to interrupt real quick. We see a big old, this meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is being recorded.
No, it's a big old sign in the middle of the screen that says that.
Okay. Is everybody else having that issue?
Just hit continue. You should see some
continue.
Oh, just hit continue.
Yeah.
That's because they're trying to record it too, and they need your permission to do that.
Yeah, they gotta. Whenever I hit record, it's gonna make everybody agree that they want to be recorded. So
acknowledged. Thank you.
All right, that's why you have that there. All right. Where was I? All right. This process, I would like for everyone, a few of you, I know you already done my passport process. I don't know if everybody's done it, but this is to be done after you do the passport process, if you can. Some of you guys got issues with the IRS, got issues with child support that will not allow you to get a passport until that is rectified. So one of the documents you're going to be submitting is your authenticated copy of your passport application, along with the other stuff I'm going to show you. So that's what I'm adding to it. Plus, I changed the language in some of the documents, and I'm also adding years ago we talked about the injunction, so that has been changed. It's kind of you can still look at it like an injunction, but that is going to be an option you can include with submitting your paperwork. All right. Someone said they're waiting for 2 months for the authentication. Yes, authentication takes a while. Sometimes they call you, and if you don't answer, they'll send you a letter. But it took me 3-4 months to get mine back, and COVID has not been helping that situation out at all. All right, so let's go to close the screen out. Let's go here. I'm gonna share the screen in a minute. As soon as all right. Every state, well, I won't say every. Yes, Michael, you have to request your authentication. All right, let's go over here, share the screen. All right, this is an article that came out in February 6th of 2018, which is funny that it let me make sure this are you guys seeing that screen with the woman's driver's license, the head?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes, I can.
All right.
It's cut off. Are we supposed to be seeing the full license?
Well, it's cut off because I
Okay.
have to scroll through it. You should be seeing me scrolling now. You good?
Good.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the article. And on this article, it explains how in North Carolina, they passed a bill for the American Indians to have a designation on the driver's license. They can opt in to do that. Then I went and researched one or two more states, and guess what? Pretty much all of them had the option to self-identify who you are and have it on your driver's license. Now, one of the pitfalls is, which we all know, is that is that they only leave a certain designation for you to check off. And we all know why that is, right? They want you to fit into one of their U.S. citizen titles. And my old teaching is don't fit into a U.S. citizen title. Hang on, there's someone trying to get in here. I don't know. I know there's a couple of extra double entries in here. Hang on a second. Let me you know, we always got to be late to the party, right? One of us have to be. I don't know who ATR is, but
have to go deep with tunes.
Huh? All right. So this article explains how there was a representative who was he was part of a tribe, and he lobbied to get these designations for his people, American Indians. Well, we all know who the real American Indians are, right? When you look at a person of color or what we call them black, most likely they are an American Indian. An American Indian is not the true name. It's just what they put on it. And then under it, you have the tribes. If you guys noticed, when I did the CDC video and showed all those little tribes, those are the real names. American Indian is just a title they created because they could not get all of those titles into their system, or it would take them. It can be done, but it would take a lot of time and money to get that, get the computers. So they just picked one designation, which is American Indian or Alaska Native. All right, so in this article, it says state law requires that when you apply for a driver's license that you provide a physical description, including your gender, height, eye color, and hair color. The answer to those questions appear on the license itself. License also used to include race with the option of picking one of three categories: black, white, and other. And when they, just to stop right there, when they say black, white, and other, they are locking you in to what they perceive who you are. And that's against your rights, because you have a right to say who you are. They don't have a right to tell you who you are. And for years, we've been allowing them to psychologically deceive us into checking off one of these boxes because we felt like we had no other choice. You see what I'm saying? So, but you have choices. And the law is clear, because I'm going to pull out some of these laws and show you in these states, they actually say you have an option to self-identify. In the late 1980s, the State Division of Motor Vehicles decided that vague notation was not needed to meet the law's requirements for a description of the driver, and race was removed from the license starting in January 1990. Now, I know why they probably removed it, because once they identify who people really are, then they realize what jurisdiction they fall in. So if they get you to pick one of theirs, then everybody's assumed to be in their jurisdiction, so they can start writing tickets. They can do whatever they want to you. So, but 3 years later, State Rep Ronnie Sutton, a Democrat from Robeson County, filed a bill that would require a person's race be listed on the driver's license. Sutton, a member of the Lumbee tribe and the only Native American legislator at the time, said that for American Indians, the notation was important in establishing their identity and preventing confusion about their background. So he did this because he didn't want confusion, because they have certain rights. See, the American Indian even has their own Supreme Court. They're a government running side by side with the current government. But most people don't know their own lineage, so they don't attach themselves to that company. The bill had to split its It's Truth Tuesday, November the 11th. We're 11 days into the month of November already. Look at that. Look at that. Moving right along. Month and a half to January. Can you believe it? I can. But today we're talking about bankruptcy and how it's not as negative as you think it is. I can tell you from my own personal experience, it's not. I can tell you straight up. But shouts out to everybody that's in the chat, who's watching. Appreciate you always for this support for this show. Running strong for the last 10 years. I hope you guys been appreciating those shorts I've been putting up. I got a lot more. I have it scheduled out for them to just automatically upload, but I have a lot more stuff that you guys can enjoy. But remember, school.com, go to school.com. Let me put the link in here. That's where the new membership is. That's where all of the info will be. Right now, I still have the credit repair bundle still for $27. If you know anybody that need it, make them go get it. Stop buying my stuff and then sharing the files. Let people pay for their freedom. Okay? Plus, I need the bread. I gotta have that bread to keep this going. Y'all know I already give y'all good stuff to work with. Y'all don't lose with the stuff I use, right? So why just give it away? But, so let me get the invite link, put it in the chat. There you go. All right, so let's talk about bankruptcy. You know, what motivated me to talk about bankruptcy, I was watching this clip with Damon Dash, I believe, on The Breakfast Club, right? That's what I was watching. And he was talking about bankruptcy, and it was like, oh, Donald Trump filed bankruptcy because he's a scammer. He's this, he's that. Like, people are so quick to judge someone because they don't like them, because they believe they have certain views, before looking into a situation. Like, listen, I'm not a fan of none of these people. But one thing I will do is investigate their moves. How can this man stay a billionaire? File bankruptcy, and still become the president of the United States. Like, so you got guys like Charlamagne the God talking about Trump. Oh, he's a scammer. But Charlamagne the God was doing that show 15 years. Getting up early in the morning to do interviews, and that's what Damon Dash was like. Hey, you haven't seen the world. You've been here. Basically, you're a high-paid prisoner, so you don't know what's going on out there. How many billionaires you know? Let me tell y'all something. How many real people with real money are doing podcasts? They're investing in podcasts. They're not actually in front of the camera. Yes, I'm not knocking doing, but that's what I do, right? But the guys with the bread ain't doing in front of a camera. they're out there shifting things around. So let's get into this. Number one, wiping out bad debt, freeing cash flow to buy assets. That's the reason why, one of the reasons you would I had something here. Let me do something. Let me fix something. I think I took something out that I needed. All right, so bankruptcy can be a path back to wealth, but only when it's used lawfully, strategically, and with real discipline afterward. Here are the strongest real-world ways that happens. 1, wiping out bad consumer debt, freeing cash flow to buy assets. How it builds wealth. Chapter 7. This is on the Chapter 7. Discharges most unsecured debt, credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, so your monthly cash flow jumps. So imagine if you were drowning in a lot of credit card debt. You can file Chapter 7, get that wiped off, and all of that money that you was going to those credit cards, you now keep it in your bank account. You keep exempt access, varies by state. Retirement accounts, basic household goods, some home equity. If you immediately redirect that freed up cash into income producing assets, business skills, real estate, investments, instead of new consumer debt, your net worth can grow fast. So the money you were throwing into all those credit cards, you can put it into some investments. So that would require you looking at your finances. Somebody with $80K in credit cards and loans is paying $1,600 a month just in minimums. After a legitimate Chapter 7, that $1,600 a month can be redirected into paying cash for used work vehicles, funding a small business or side hustle, aggressively investing after building an emergency fund. Bankruptcy didn't make them rich. It neutralized the anchor so their income could actually build something. Number 2, using Chapter 13 as a forced wealth boot camp. I don't suggest this one, but I'm going to go over it. I don't like Chapter 13. How it builds wealth. Chapter 13. Court forces 3 to 5 year payment plan based on your disposable income. You learn to live on a strict budget because you have to. At the end, remaining eligible unsecured debt is discharged. Now, I'm going to tell you, lawyers are instructed to push you into Chapter 13. That's the one that they're going to most of them going to go for. Your bankruptcy preparers who don't have skin in the game like that will push you to a Chapter 7. Wipe out all the debts. There's a myth that you can't keep your home and file Chapter 7. That's what I was told by the lawyer, but that's not true. It just depends on equity and things like that. Yeah, yes, you can keep your home. Yes, definitely. Somebody asked, is it true that you can keep your home, at least one car, if you file bankruptcy? You can keep more than one car. Just depends. You can exempt certain assets, like say if it's cars, right? And you do a Chapter 7, you still would have to keep making those payments on that car to keep it. Same thing with a home. You still gotta, you take them, you exempt those from the bankruptcy and just get rid of the credit card debt. You still have to make those payments. You do not lose. Now you can get in there and renegotiate. Now, what I know about, when the creditors meetings show up, they never show up. So you could actually challenge those debts and get them discharged because they don't show up there at the bankruptcy. But if you get an attorney, he's not going to show up. The meeting of the creditors is where the creditors say you owe them money. They're supposed to be there to say this person owes me. They never show up. None of the creditors show up. But, we let them get away with those little things. But that's a discussion for private conversation.
If you keep that same lean lifestyle after discharge, but now without payments, the difference becomes investable surplus. Chapter 13 acts like a mandatory financial discipline program. When it ends your habits, free cash flow can be serious wealth engine. Number 3, reorganizing in business instead of watching it die. This is for chapter 11, how it builds wealth. Chapter 11, subchapter 5, sometimes 13 for soul props, lets a viable business restructure debt instead of shutting down. You can renegotiate leases, stretch out payments, sometimes reduce principal and reject burdensome contracts. If the underlying business model is solid, post reorganization, it can become very profitable. Big picture, many entrepreneurs end up wealthy because bankruptcy let them save the core business and shed the dead weight. Without that, the business would have collapsed and all future profit potential would be gone. Strategic reset to pivot into new, better business. Sometimes the best move is to let a failing business go. Discharge personal guarantees where possible and start fresh. Old business, maxed out credit, lawsuits brewing, no realistic turnaround after a proper chapter 13. You're not drowning in old liabilities. You can build a new entity with a clean structure, proper insurance, trust. You see, it mentioned trust, contracts, etc. The wealth comes from the next venture, which could never have been launched under the weight of the old one. Real estate restructuring, catching future appreciation. In down cycles, some investors have used reorganization to restructure mortgages on investment properties, in some cases, cramming down certain secured claims in Chapter 11 or restructuring payment terms. Sell off truly hopeless properties while keeping those that can cash flow with new terms. Ride the next wave of appreciation with cleaner balance sheet and lower monthly obligations. The wealth isn't created by the bankruptcy itself, it's created because the investor survived the downturn, keeps key properties, and is still standing when values rebound. 6, protecting core exempt assets while shedding toxic debt. In many cases, people into bankruptcy already owning things that are hard to rebuild later. Retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, etc., often protected under federal or state law. Certain homestead equity, tools of the trade, etc. Properly using bankruptcy allows them to keep those protected assets, eliminate a huge amount of unsecured debt, then focus all future income on adding to those protected buckets, especially retirement and business assets. Net result, their long-term net worth ends up much higher than if they had spent the next 10, 20 years trying to dig out of impossible debt. Psychological reset, from survival mode to builder mode. This part is huge and often underestimated. Before bankruptcy, constant calls, garnishment, fear, shame, survival decisions. After discharge, reorganization, mental bandwidth returns, stress drops, and people can actually plan again. If someone uses that clear headspace to study money, law, and business, build systems like trusts, entities, contracts, banking structure, and stay away from high-interest consumer credit, then that mental reset is the bridge from permanent crisis to deliberate wealth building. Learning the rules of the system and not making the same mistakes. Many wealthy people went through bankruptcy early. They learned where they over-leveraged, trusted the wrong partners, and didn't have proper legal financial structure. They made different choices the second time: more equity, better contracts, better entity, trust planning, better risk management. Bankruptcy became the hard, expensive classroom that pushed them into becoming much more sophisticated with credit, leverage, and law. So bankruptcy can be a powerful tool. The debt is truly unpayable under any realistic scenario, in which a lot of people have that with credit cards. So listen, the two bankruptcies I would study is Chapter 11 Number 1, and then chapter 7. Chapter 11 is the debtor in possession. So you control, so the debtor acts as the trustee, whereas chapter 7, they will appoint a trustee to that case. And there you go. Simple stuff about bankruptcy. See, a lot of people, I know people with a huge amount of debt. Huge amount of debt. And they're steady trying to pay it down, can't get out of it. Because the mainstream stigma of bankruptcy, they won't do it. Yeah, that's right. That's the trick. That's the cheat code. They got to show up to affirm the debt. All right. There it is about bank. Y'all got any questions? Put it in the chat. I'm not going to stay on here too long today. I just want to talk about that real quick. I'm trying to reduce my shows down to about 30 minutes, no more than an hour. But next week, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull out everything about Chapter 11, what's needed, how to file it. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. It's Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Since that's my favorite. Hey, before I go, I just want to tell you guys, I know you've been working hard all year. I know this has been a challenging year for a lot of people. But look, you made it through. You're still here. You still got a roof over your head. You still got a car to drive. You still got food in your refrigerator. Be thankful. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. What's left goes right and right goes left. Things never stay the same. But what you must remain consistent in is focused on where you want to be and how you want to see it and how you want to live. Some of us are in the wrong land. This country might be the wrong land for you. Picking up and going to another country might be the answer. Staying in what we call the homeland might be what's holding some of us back. Just something to think about. All right. So next Tuesday is Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I'm telling you, bankruptcy. I tell you, back in 2005, I filed bankruptcy. I never was able to get a credit card. I got 2 credit cards right after I filed bankruptcy while I was in the bankruptcy. So that's when I figured out that all of that, the normal jargon or the normal stuff that people were talking about, that's the media. See, they want the average Joe to stay out of bankruptcy court. So you can stay enslaved to all of those debts. All right, remember, credit cards don't give you any money. It's just credits. It's not real money. All right? So don't be, no, you don't. They didn't give you any money. All right, with that being said, till next time, peace. I'm out.